Summer is over and sometimes we have to ride to work and back or go training in the dark. So it's time to choose a light for winter. And there are so many lights to choose from with so many different features. So we're going to look at what light would suit you and what features would suit you. Before we look at the features of all the different lights available, we've got to work out that there are three fundamentally different types of lights. There are tail lights, which flash and are very bright. There are headlights, which flash and are really bright, and they will help you to be seen, but they won't light the road up. And then there's a third type of light, which we're going to call during this session as a headlamp, and that'll light the road up so you can see where you're going. The first thing that we're going to consider when buying a light is how bright the light is. So every light has a little bit of detail on the side showing the lumens of how bright it is. And some of these lumens are measured close to the light by the manufacturer and some of them measured a long way away. So some manufacturers may say it has a very bright lumen, but it might not. It's good to check the light. So if we have a very bright lumen, it will be seen, but you can get an extra bright lumen that projects a light much, much further away. So if you want to light the road up to where you're going, to see the pathway or to see the trail, then you're going to need a much, much brighter light. Generally, rear lights just have a flashing light. Some of them have a little reflector that makes it brighter. Some of them have a diffuser that scatters the light, and some of them have a reflector as well that even if the light is off, it will still work. The headlights are really important because when you're projecting a beam of light, you don't want it to be too narrow if you want to see where you're going turning corners. So a lot of lights will have either a beam or a scattered beam or both. The next thing to consider when buying a light is the run time. So this is really complex because the lights have so many different flashing modes or constant light or different brightness levels that you can run through the modes. So most of the lights will show you on the side of the packaging how long it will run, and it may run anywhere from 20 minutes to 6 or 8 hours depending on the light and depending on the mode. So you need to look at the instructions or get help from the retailer just about how long the light will run in the mode that you're going to use. Most of the lights you buy these days are USB rechargeable. So what we've had for years and years is a cable where you need to take a cable wherever you're going to go, plug the light in, plug it into USB, recharge the light, which is great, very reliable. Nowadays we're seeing a lot more lights with an integrated USB charger where you just flip off the end and plug it straight in. So you don't need a cable, which is even easier. But if you haven't got an opportunity to recharge your lights anywhere, you can still buy a battery light that takes 2 AA batteries or 3 AAA batteries, and that's really good if travelling in an area where you don't have an ability to charge your light. Another thing to consider is whether the light you're going to buy is waterproof or water resistant. Waterproof means the light can be completely submerged in the water, which is a great reassurance that it's not going to corrode over a period of time with splashing rain or when you're washing your bike. But water resistant means it can handle a little bit of water like a light shower or a hose, but it can't be submerged. It's always better to buy a waterproof light rather than a water resistant light. Once you choose the light's features, like how bright it is and how long it will last, you've got to think about how you're going to mount it to your body or your bike. And we always believe for a rear light you need 2 lights. You need one from your helmet and one down low. So if there's a little bit of a problem with one of the lights or they go flat, you still have a second light. Plus it gives a different perspective. So when you're using the lights, they often come with a simple rubber mount like this that wraps around the seat pole or the handlebar or whatever. And a little bit of a problem with all the lights is this can get a bit old and perished and eventually not function properly. See, like these lights have a very, very thick strap. So you need to get a light that's either got a really heavy strap or a light like the KNOG light that comes with spare rubber bands. So when you're buying a light, you need to consider what's going to happen after the strap perishes. Some other features you can get with some of the lights like the specialised STIX light is they give you available to buy afterwards, a helmet mount, a back belt clip or a backpack mount or a head fittings mount. So you can mount this type of light in so many different ways. So it's really versatile, lightweight and very bright. When choosing a headlight, a headlamp to light the road up ahead of you, you need to consider a few different things. Number one, if it's mounted on the bike and you turn the handlebars, or you intend on turning left when the light's shining forward, then you're not going to be able to see where you're going. So on the front, it's great to have two different perspectives as well. So for mountain bike riding and dark path riding where you need to see where you're going everywhere, we like to have two lights, one on the helmet and one on your bike as well. So wherever you're looking, you're getting light, and also the bike is lighting up the road in front of you all of the time as well. And having two separate light sources cast shadows on bumps that you may not see if you only have a helmet light. So it's really important to have two headlights if you want to be really safe. Another thing to consider when buying a rear light, if you're riding in a group of riders, is if you have them in a high flashing mode, it blinds the people behind you. So some lights, like the KNOG blinder, has a bunch mode where only two lights go on very softly, and then when you're on your own you can turn it to full brightness, and these lights have a huge penetration for over 1 kilometre away. It's really important, if you're going to fit a light to your helmet or your backpack, that even though they may be fitted in a great position when you're upright, when you bend over and assume the riding position, the light on the helmet and the backpack might be pointing up at the sky and they're not really effective. So you've got to be really careful that when you're fitting these lights, to make sure that they're pointing at the traffic while you're in the riding position. It's also the same with lights on your bike, that if you're wearing a long jacket or a backpack, or you have a rack with pannier bags or anything on the back of your bike that can obscure the view of the light, is going to make the light less effective. So they've got to be bright, visible and pointed at the traffic in your riding position without anything obscuring the view of the light. Another thing to consider when buying lights is where you buy the light from, you want to be able to take it back if there's a problem. About 5% of lights fail. We have a terrific run with KNOG. We have 0 failure rate. They're the most reliable light that we've carried. But you want to buy them from somebody where you can take them back and get a replacement light if there's a problem. When considering a light, you should consider a few things: how bright the light is, how long the battery will last, how you're going to mount the light if it suits you, the quality or the warranty of the light, and the price you're paying.